This is what happens when you neglect your garden. All right, so a kitchen garden update here. What has happened to this place? So I'm gonna go through what we have and what's been working well, what's been neglected, and what we can do about it, because I think this happens with a lot of people's gardens. So just starting up by the house with the trellis here, it's been working really well. I will probably, it's July here now, I'm gonna go through and replant a second planting of peas because they'll grow into September in the cool weather very well. And so, you know, we obviously got really thin here because when I dug my post holes and stuff, I killed a lot of the peas. But they're doing really well. These are one of our favorite things to grow. These snap peas, they're so good. Will you eat one? Okay, take that end off. There. You love these peas, don't you? The sugar snap peas, the nice thing about these, the kids come out here and they'll just pop them off the vine and just eat them. They're just so good. So fun to grow, quick growing. You do need a trellis for these type of peas, and they will grow up. You know, if we let them go earlier in the season like we should have, they would get all the way up into here. They grow really tall, and they're heavy producers. So snap peas are awesome to have. The main tomato patch over here turned out pretty good. A lot of the tomatoes that I started inside did not do as well as others. This one here being a great example. This one's doing very well. It's a different kind of tomato, and then a lot of my Romas just started off really slow. But we'll get plenty of tomatoes out of those. The peppers up here did really well also, and we are in the end of July here, but we do have peppers. So we should get, you can see a few in there as well. We should get a really good crop of green peppers, sweet peppers off of these. Hey, you eating all the peas again? The bell pepper patch right here has done really well. We've barely weeded this at all. We will get a few blades of grass that will pop up here and there, but we generally deal with that, you know, just when we're walking by. This is the easiest thing to maintain because we're walking by it all the time on our little wooden path here. But the wood chips we put really heavy in here, and they have kept the weeds down. The plants have not suffered from any nitrogen deficiencies. Early on, I think that they did a little bit when they were small, but now that the roots have established into that soil, I think they've been doing very well. We don't use any fertilizer or anything with any of these unless we see a serious problem. So everything has been naturally fertilized, I guess you could say. And also with the wood chips in here on the tomatoes, again, same thing here. We are getting some grass in some thinner areas, but that's real easy to pop out. You know, just go through and pull that out. And once the tomatoes fill in, they shade it, and that stuff doesn't grow anyway. But the wood chips hold that moisture in the soil, so we haven't watered this garden in over a month. So we did water in June, and that was it. We didn't water at all in July. So the rest of the garden is a lot of weeding. We gotta get to work out here. We've been gone on vacations and all kinds of things going on. So this patch right here is there's potatoes growing in here. We've got a lot of grass and weeds popping through. These are potatoes in here. They'll be dying back soon and ready to harvest. These are onions in here. You can't even see them. There's the top of one of them. There's a bunch of rows of onions in here, and so that all needs to be weeded out as well. And same with our lettuce. Got a lot of weeds coming through here. We got a few random tomatoes in here as well. And then this carrot row we started to weed. My daughter did, actually. She did a really good job, and those need to be thinned out. So now one of the things I have found with weeding is you don't want to take the weeds out of the garden. These weeds or grasses or whatever, as you pull this stuff out, you've got a lot of dirt on the bottom, your best soil, your top soil, and these have really taken a lot of the best nutrients out of your soil to grow, right? These are nice, healthy weeds. So these plants contain all the nutrients, all the nitrogen, potassium, everything that a lot of these plants need, especially nitrogen for corn. You don't want to take that out of the garden all the time when you're weeding. So especially if you let it go this long like we have, and you've got a disaster to clean up, what I like to do is just either compost them. That's fine. Throw them back in your compost pile, or I'll just, after I'm done weeding, I'll just take the pile and I'll put it right back around the bottom of the plants, because that'll prevent weeds from growing up as those die, similar to what we did here. And we've got a raccoon that's coming out and trying to break everything, it looks like. But you can see right here, I just piled up all those weeds right around all the corn here, and that will keep the other weeds from growing up quite so quickly. So I don't know what happened in here, if we had some wind or what, but this is a little patch of zucchini and tomatoes. The tomatoes I have not, I'm kind of doing an experiment this year. Some of these tomatoes I have not trimmed at all, so I didn't pluck out any of the suckers. I just let them bush out and go crazy. With these ones here, these are Romas, and then some of them I have maintained to a single trunk up a stake, like this one here, for instance, or these ones over here. But the zucchini has been growing crazy, and we've got lots of zucchini. If you've ever grown zucchini before, you'll know how crazy that does. This section here has got some grass growing in it, but because this is covered very well with the zucchini leaves, we haven't got a lot of weeds in here, which has been nice. And the ones that are in there, you know, those can be pulled out pretty easily or just leave. So that's a good example of how quickly zucchini grows. I didn't even know those were in there. A couple days ago we cleared them out, and there's more. So we have battled with a little bit of powdery mildew. You can see that on some of the leaves here. First time I've ever had problems with it. We've gotten some before, but it's always kind of just cleared up on its own. This seems to have kind of spread and killed off. These are pumpkins and melons in here, honeydew melons, and various types of pumpkins. So I don't know how well the crop will be this year. I have sprayed some organic fungicides, and it seems to have kind of worked a little bit, but I may do another application of that in here and see if we can kill that stuff off. I've also picked off some of the leaves that are really infected with it, and taken those off. But we do have a lot of pumpkins starting in here, a lot of flowers. Anything that hasn't really started by now probably won't end up being finished by the time October comes around. But we do have at least a few that are decent sizes in here, and you can see started. So it looks like a few back here as well. So we should get a decent harvest anyway. And anything that doesn't completely ripen will be perfect for pigs and chickens. They love pumpkins. They're great for them. Tomatoes here, I will actually continue to stake these up. I've got to put some new clips on these, and obviously got to try to get my melons out of the tomatoes as well. It's growing right up the top, isn't it? What? Sunflower? Oh, look what, Summer just found a sunflower back there that started it. That's a short one. And we have about 80 sunflowers all along here. Doesn't look like that many, but it is about 80. We didn't get a lot of them planted till a little bit late. You know, some of them are super small. They won't really produce anything, but we should get a decent amount of sunflower seeds this year. I'm hoping the birds and the squirrels will leave us some, and we'll use that for chicken feed. Goat and pig will also eat some sunflowers as well as we'll save some seed for next year. So, and I'll give you guys a preview of the best garden around here. This is the SSL Family Kids rabbit garden. They've got the 2 rabbit hutches up there, and we put this little temporary fence around until we have a nice one built. She lets her rabbits out, and they just come out and get to select whatever vegetables they want to eat. We've got some beans, and tomatoes haven't grown yet, lemongrass, chamomile, lettuces, various kinds, Swiss chard, and spinach, which seems to be their favorite here. This used to be a row of spinach that they ate all of. So, but this is, she has kept this garden really well. She's weeded it and worked really hard, and she has the nicest looking garden plot out here. So she's going to do a video on that. I'll link over to and talk more about that. So what happened here? This is the wheat patch, the einkorn wheat. This just totally got away from us. I don't know if it's recoverable. we just didn't have the time. We ran out of time. There was no wood chips through here. It was just, spread through rows of einkorn. And it was really hard to tell what was einkorn and what was grass to start with. And we let it go, and I don't know if we'll be able to recover. We will try to find the einkorn in here, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened to our corn over here. Something trying to climb up it or what? But this row of corn, this is really easy to weed. It takes about 10 minutes. We'll pop the weeds all out of here and make this look really good. And then the two things that we've harvested the most of so far, I would say, is probably this whole kind of salad row here. This is Swiss chard, spinach, and kale at the end. This has just recently kind of gotten filled with weeds. We were keeping this up pretty well, but we'll have to go through and take care of this. We've got the kale down here, which this stuff is just great. It grows so easily, very, very healthy. Even though some slugs are getting at it, it still just grows right through it and keeps producing. So we haven't had to treat anything here. The thing that totally is probably wrecked is our carrots. This whole row here is carrots. You got to keep up with carrots. If they're so hard to weed through, this section here that my daughter weeded through, she did pretty good, but it's really hard. You're pulling the weeds out, the root balls are coming out, and they're pulling the carrots out with them. And so carrots you have to keep up with. We'll try to recover this, but I don't know. We may just do a second planting, tear it all out, and just plant again. So carrot failure. And then at the end, we're gonna mulch around.
Dad, all of the high things are corn, right?
Yes, just don't pull out the corn and you will be successful.
Ow! Yeah. I think that's weeding. I mean one row.
Like this whole row of corn will be done today. Then tomorrow we'll come back out here and I'll do the carrot row. So this is the final product here. It looks a lot better than just weeds, and these will die down, they will mat down and biodegrade right there at the base of the plants. This will bring the worms to the surface to help to eat that stuff, and then of course worm castings will help your plants grow. This will help the slugs have something to eat for a few days, so they won't be messing with my leafy greens and broccoli and cabbage and stuff like that as much, and their waste also is beneficial for the plants. They don't really mess with corn too much anyway, but so this is a great way to keep all those nutrients right in your garden this year, rather than composting this stuff and then waiting till the end of the season or next year to use the nutrients that you got out of the weeds. Use them right in your garden today. So obviously the best approach to dealing with weeds in a garden is to deal with them right away. Get out there an hour to a week and just get in the garden and weed. You may run out of time, and I think that's what happens with a lot of people. They, especially with a garden this size. This is a decent sized garden to maintain. The wood chips are an extremely valuable resource, and in fact we have found a local source of them closer to us at our new home here, and I need to go get another load and just re-spread. It's about that time, midsummer, to re-spread and get down any of the little grass that's poking through and stuff, and it'll kill it off for good. So you can also do the same thing with wood chips. As you weed, if you keep this weeded, we could have got wood chips right up around these plants as soon as they're big enough, and that would have eliminated the weed problem for the rest of the season as well. So wood chips are awesome to garden with. It does take a few years for the soil to really get going. Our garden this year is not producing as well as our raised beds did last year at the old house with that soil mix. Man, was that perfect soil. But it will take a few years to get this much area to really good fertile soil. So we'll be working on that each year here in this garden, as well as in our more production gardens that we'll be doing next year also. But if your garden gets crazy and you've got a lot of weeds, don't throw them away. Don't throw them, you know, in your compost pile even. Use them right now. Get them around your tomato plants, hill them around your pumpkin patch areas, put them underneath your pumpkins to keep those off the ground. You know, you can use these weeds for a lot, and they're a great resource. I mean, these are just packed full of nutrients. I mean, look how well they grew, right? They sucked all that nutrients out of the soil, which probably, again, that's taken away from your plants in a sense. But let's give that stuff right back to our plants. So if we got to this point, you know, get those weeds right around your plants and let them break down, and that'll help the final growth of the season here in the summer, perk those things back up. So as always, guys, questions, comments, please let me know. Throw them down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Hit thumbs up on the video. I'd love to have you subscribe. So hitting that red subscribe button and the bell next to it allows you to get notifications when we release new videos. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.